Next on the workbench is a Nintendo Switch Lite. And it does not charge. And the scariest thing about it is that the customer told me they tried to replace the USB-C port yourself, which is not an amateur's job. So we're going to fix this. The first thing we got to do is open it up. Okay, it's open. I have a port tester on there, and you see all those red marks that say OL, that means open loop. And at first, when I put that on there, I thought maybe he didn't get it soldered on at all. But then I saw what was really going on, and we know why it's open loop. Let's take a look. So here is the soldering job. You see this blob here and this blob there. There's just a blob everywhere. Well, there's individual pins that are supposed to be soldered, and I'm guessing they went for the just connect it all. I mean, this was never going to work. Every pin is connected. That's not a big deal. Once we remove the port, we're going to see if there's damage to the pads down here and see how complicated this job truly gets. But what's disappointing here that I noticed, and we're going to have to get this board out of here, but I noticed this, and this is disappointing. Their battery connector is also melted, and the battery literally wasn't even pushed in. I wonder if it can push in at all. There might be just no hope for this battery connector. So we'll have to replace the battery connector as well. Hopefully the battery connect itself is in good shape, but this connector here is going to have to be changed also. I don't see any other damage outside the immediate area. So we got to get this port off, which means we got to get this motherboard out of the system. So I'm going to do that. Okay, we got the board out now, and you can clearly see the damage on the battery header, the sloppy slaughter attempt, and it gets worse on the backside. Well, I don't know about worse, but more extensive anyway. The port was melted during install. I don't even know what's going on here. Like, what is this gunk? Is that flux residue? Is that soda syrup? It's brown and sticky like soda syrup, but I think maybe this guy used like a plumber's flux to try and solder here. This is horrible, and it's just everywhere, and it goes up and up the board here. We're gonna have to clean all this up. Oh my gosh. It's over here. He didn't even work on the M92, but that stuff just leaked everywhere. So I think before even removing this stuff, I should drop the port and see how bad the damage is, because this unit may end up needing to come in way over the estimated repair rate. So let's drop that port and see what's going on. Okay, fume extractor's on. We're heating from underneath at 350, and we're going to go ahead and flux it up. We don't want to tear any pads that aren't already torn. Hopefully there's none torn. Cross my fingers. And let's see if this comes off. There's at least one torn pad. Let's go ahead and clean up that solder. Hopefully the one that's torn is a no connect. I don't know what kind of solder he used. It doesn't wick up nicely. With this heat, solder should come up really nicely, and it's a bit of a struggle. Let's get some of this stray solder balls that are just kind of all over the place. Look at this. The solder's not moving or melting. It's really weird. I don't know what kind of solder he used. I'm guessing it's, it's plumber solder or something. We're gonna have to get this cleaned up. Let's see. This cleans up. See these, I've never seen a device with solder like this. Like these tiny little balls there. And there's another one right there and another one right there. Must have been a really wrong solder for this job. And I gotta get those cleaned up. The good news is that pad that tore off is a no connect, and that's probably why it lifted off, because when they're not connected to a trace they come off easier. So we do not have to fix that one. That's good news. I think what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up a little bit better and then put a new port on and do a port reading check on it. See, I'm actually hoping that this battery connector can be used. It's so gunked up with that brown crap. I'm wondering if that's why the battery wouldn't connect to it. So I'm trying to see if that can be cleaned up at all. Just not really sure if that'll work or not. This is delicate to sensitive to heat. That's why I heat from underneath with this. This is you must have used hot air or something, because that's not soldering iron damage. I'm not sure. Okay. Maybe that's better. I don't know. Want to put a new port on. Okay, so in preparation to put the port on, first thing I'm going to do is flux it up. I'm going to take my leaded solder and prep these pads. Let's put a little bit of heat under there. That's gonna let this spread out better. And I love flux. Okay. That looks pretty okay. I'm not sure about that one connecting there. I need to investigate that. Yeah, that pin on the end is ground, so that's not going to be a problem. Okay, so before dropping the port on, I'm going to adjust my heat, make sure that we have good heat coming through there. And then I'm going to flux it up. And I'm going to hold the port with my tweezers and get that solder molten. There we go. Alright. The solder kind of tenses up once it gets the cold port on there. We'll reheat it up. And then I'm going to hold it there as I remove the heat. I'm going to hold until all the solder solidifies. Okay. Now I'm going to solder the legs of that port in. I want to put the heat gun away. Flux it up a little bit more. And get some solder down. Okay, good. Now, before I do any other work on this device, I'm going to do a port reading and see what's going on there. Okay, so the port reading looks good. The open loop that you see on those two pins, 8 and 17, is normal for a Switch Lite. On a regular Switch, you wouldn't want open loop on those. On a normal Switch, they go to the PI3 chip. But the Switch Lite doesn't have a PI3 chip, and so those parts of the USB port are not utilized. And so open loop on those two pins is normal, and everything else is green, and the diode readings look good. So now we can test whether this is going to read a battery or not. All right, let's do this together. We're going to connect the battery. Okay, so the battery did connect better once I got that gunk out of there. And then this is a charge meter, and we're going to see if we get a reading when we plug this in. Yes, yes. It's showing the proper voltage and amperage. Then it's going to go blank and switch over to fast charging. Yes, 1.3 amps. And important part here is to rotate the cable over, make sure it charges both ways. Yes, perfect. It's working. The board is charging the battery, which is the problem that it was brought to us for. So now I'm going to proceed with cleaning up the gunk that's on there as a courtesy, and we'll put it back together and make sure that we get a charge symbol on the display. So right about now, I'm just squirting alcohol on the board and scrubbing it with a good horsehair brush, because it both absorbs and it's firm, so it'll clean out all that brown crud that was all over this. And this is much harder to clean than normal flux has ever been. I got one of those little solder balls again. It's not even soldered to anything, it's just stuck there. That's so weird. I'm gonna do a quick look over under the microscope with this, make sure that it's all clean and there's not gunk where it shouldn't be. It's looking pretty okay. Look at this stuff. It just wasn't clean off with the brush. This is this black gunk. And of course there's little solder balls in there. You know, I told this customer that there could be additional charges if prior repair attempts caused additional damage or made the job take unnecessarily longer than it should. And at first, I think, you know, I knew what I was getting into with prior repair attempt, a little do-it-yourselfer repair. But, yeah, let me get a better light on there. Maybe. Crap. I just, didn't expect this volume of weird crap I've never had to clean up before. This wouldn't come off with a normal brush, which is, you know, like when you're cleaning up flux residue. And, you know, most flux, it's actually not problematic if you leave it on. I mean, it's bad form to leave it on without cleaning it, but it's not going to damage anything. They actually call it like no clean flux, indicating that it's safe to leave on. But the problem I have with this crap is that he's got all those little solder beads and balls on there. It almost makes me feel like he used reballing solder. I mean, that would be ludicrous to throw little balls of solder on there to flow in a USB port. But I just can't explain where all these little balls come from. Is that another one? Look at that. Okay. This is the crap. Okay, this is going to be boring, so I'm going to pause while I clean up the rest of this. Okay, things look pretty okay. I can't get all this brown crap off, and as long as it doesn't interfere with the operation of it, then, well, I guess it's whatever he made of it, you know? He put plumber's flux or some other crap on there, and it's going to be there. But we're going to reassemble this and see if it works. So quite truthfully, I haven't fully reassembled it, but I got it enough with the screens connected because I just, with this unit, don't know what else is broken. And if I put it all back together and find out that he damaged a, you know, screen connector or something like that, then I'll be frustrated with myself. So we're going to see if we can get display, backlight, all those sorts of things, and get this to turn on. And if it turns on and looks like it's going to work, then put the rest back together. Okay, let's plug this in together. Because I don't even know if the customer's battery is going to work. We know it worked with ours. Okay. Yes. It's not showing good voltage and amperage because their battery's totally drained. But we got, look, we got the charge indicator there, which means that the screen's working, the backlight's working, and it's reading their battery. And it's going to have to be on this charger for a while before it fully turns on, and then it'll charge at different rates. But currently, it's looking like a success. So that's good. I'm going to let it charge for a little bit and come back. Okay, this has been on the charger for a little bit. Charger indicator's gone, which probably means it turned on and the screen went to sleep. Let's test my theory. Look at that, it's turned on. It is working. Okay, that's terrific. Okay, another successful repair. If you enjoyed the content, Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll do another one in the next video.